Yo, what up? It's your boy Kamal Hart on the chart, and we're going bar by bar. So, today's November 19th. Let's pull up 5 a.m. Pretty clear. We got a trend here. See how like it doesn't really hit these lows? I see that, and I'm gonna want to switch it up for the highs. Probably get a better line. Something like there. So that could just mean this is a spike, and then we have the channel in there. Something like that. So we got the breakout. Um, First, the highs up here. It's kind of a two-legged pullback to the EMA. Second entry, but that's not a good signal bar. And the way those are breaking, that's not good either. So you're gonna have to wait to go long, but prices are up, so we're gonna be looking for longs. Until we get this bar. This is a reversal bar, right? Failed second entry reversal. Um, I'm not too inclined to go short there, but at least I'm going to make a trend out of that. Maybe something like that. We'll see how that holds. So I'll be willing to do this right now. Okay, that starts to go. It's a double top right here, so this could count as a new high. And then here, um, if this is a single high, this is the lower high. Really good signal bar, and you're expecting it maybe to test there. It's a little aggressive because it's just the first entry if this is the double top and to the lows, but it might be worth risking going short there. That one does pretty good. One does really good. There's once again that sort of two-legged situation where you get a push, that little pause bar, then another push. And then so here, off this single high, because of the double top, first entry, second entry. I would say this is another kind of aggressive short because we're not really off this trend channel. And even with this trend channel, let's take a minute. I could probably move this outside and we get all those touches. And then on this side, we can make it more like that. So that fits a little better. So if you look at it like that, we're coming off this low side and we don't yet have the touch on the trend channel or the EMA. So going short there is going to be kind of aggressive. I'm going to make it green just to make sure it's clear that it's technically a trade, but probably an advanced trade and a little bit of a risky trade. And you get the pullback. See, it doesn't go very far. It just makes that double bottom, pulls back. And then right there, you get the second entry short. For another sort of reason, this is also aggressive, but um, this channel is holding. It's pretty strong. We got the touch to this low. We're going to try to exit at these lows. I'm cool getting in short. And that was the thing, like I missed all these trades this morning waiting for the perfect setup. And I ended up taking a trade that, was average when the best trades were here if you were just willing to pull the trigger. So that was a little bit frustrating today, having to wrestle with watching all of these trades go. And I was really so close. I put a limit order on this trade, but it never ticked back enough to get me in. So that's why sometimes that stop is going to be your best way to get in. Okay, so now this bar. Um, Now the count's starting to get a little bit off. Off these highs, all the entries were there. If anything, what I see now with this trade, it's not as strong as these first three, but if you bring that sort of range there, you get the breakout pullback. And prices are still holding in our trend channel, so we could say that that is a trade you can take that's a little aggressive. Probably barely enough room to the lows. 275. Yeah, so a tick past these lows and you're out. You could probably risk going short there. Get out no problem. And since it's still holding, I mean, this was a really good channel today. Since it's still holding, let's make it keep going. Okay, that now is that's just no trade. Signal bar is not that great. It's just the first entry to the lows. It's been all this going on. We're just going to wait on that one. And then here, when I saw this one setting up, I was hoping it'd make a little lip, so then it'd be a technical second entry short. But when you saw this, break above, then close below, um, I would say it's aggressive again. But even when I saw this live, I put my limit order right there for a second. And then I was like, nah, let me be patient, let me wait. But I mean, when I saw this one, I really had my limit right there. And that thing goes off again. So at this point, this entire move, we've pretty much taken it back. I'm assuming, we're coming for the close, because if we opened up here, there's going to be a gap from where we opened, or yeah, we opened right in here. So there was a gap from where we opened to this gold line. So we just filled that, and we're kind of going past. I'm assuming now we're coming for these lows. Another thing I'm looking for is maybe two legs. So I'd say this could be leg one, and there's two legs inside of leg one, and then there's like a congestion, and then maybe from here is what could be our second leg, and that gives us a target just beyond the lows down there. It's the same principle kind of as this leg, right? It gets a push, there's a pause, another push, and on the bigger scale there's a push, pause, and then now there's another push. So we're still going short until we see a reversal. No signal bar, first entry, there was nothing there. That pulls back, makes a higher low. And then on this bar, even if we break below, that's not a great signal bar. So yeah, that's not going to work for our second entry. And then here's where I took my trade. Because this wasn't quite the second entry, I used this bar as just an inside trigger, kind of a higher low, just a little lip, thinking that we'd come test these lows pretty much. Just because the signal bar was so bad, I kind of use it as that bar. The thing to note here that I kind of had trouble with is that I didn't know where to put my stop. I technically could put my stop one tick above the signal bar, which would be here, but since this is an inside bar, my signal bar my stop needs to be above this bar, the signal bar. So it'd be there. And then I had an issue risking that much on like an inside trigger. So I was really debating where I should have this stop. So I decided that I would exit as quickly as possible. And here what happened is that prices broke below, and then I had a limit order waiting one tick above, and it ticked back for me. And I did that because it's an inside bar. You know, I don't want to go in on a stop here because it's not quite the setup we want. So I intentionally kind of moved it back in so my risk is a little less, especially if I'm going to leave my stop up here. So I got in there, and then I got the scalp on these lows, and then on the pullback, I already had my runner move to a +1 cover stop. I wasn't going to wait for the 2-point move, especially when you see a bar like this. You know, I'm down to get out. Um, but the irony is that we do have a push up, um, and if I had my stop where it's supposed to go, which is one tick above here, so right there, if my stop was right there, it doesn't get hit, and prices make another move to that low. So um, it was a little tough managing that trade, mainly because it wasn't the right trade. It was probably here or here, I think, are better entries. But at this point, we can see that there's some stack up from here, maybe these lows too. So about there. So now it's like going short in the middle. So that's making it even worse. Um, so I made it work and made some money off of it, but probably not the best entry. And it's crazy, you know, you watch all of these trades, and I wasn't too jumpy. That's why I didn't really go short there, which would have been the better move. But, you know, I wasn't really jumping for it. I know in my past I would have definitely just jumped at it, every single one of these red bars. But I'm pretty happy that I was patient and I waited for what I thought was at least a decent entry. So, you know, you'll get the big moves sometimes, and sometimes you got to settle for these small wins. But um, on the management side, I think I did really well. On the just being patient aspect, I did really well. So, trade, but I'm happy with my decision making um, with it. So we're stacking up. Now we need some shorts off the top, some buys off the bottoms. We're just waiting to see what happens. And then boom, we get another push down. And you see how if I hadn't have exited down here again, you know, on this range, that stop is still protected. My stop would have been right there. It never came for it. And now you're making that move towards the lows that we'd been expecting. So now you're getting this leg. So I mean, I really just, you know, if I had managed this trade a little different, I still could have caught this big move. But a lot of that is just that risk exposure. Then you know you have to be comfortable leaving your stop up there. It wouldn't have worked off this inside trigger, but if I had used the real signal bar, because it's an inside bar, this is the signal bar for this trade. If I would have left it up here, I mean, man, exactly to our measured move target, exactly. So the good part is that I can see them after the fact, and actually I saw it real time. Just the management part was already over. So you know, I'm pretty happy that I can see these moves. Now I just got to work on really sticking to the management so that I can participate um, for the times that it plays out in my favor. Anyway, so on this trend line, got that breakout and then move to a new low. You're getting the measured move there, but just for um, the sake of fairness, I would then measure this leg. It's a pretty big leg, but you know, your job is just to measure it. Don't make too many judgments about it. And then, you know, you could have a target somewhere way down there if it continues. So let's go ahead and throw a micro trend here. I'll give this a trend because one, so many bars that make a new low, and then you have that lower high there. So, I'm going to give that a micro trend right there. That is the failed second entry, but it's at the lows of the day. It's not touching the EMA. You have the breakout of this micro trend. It could just tick below and reverse. So I'm going to wait to go short. And that's exactly what it does. See right there, it just goes 2 ticks and reverses. So that was not the place to look for your trade. But now we're getting prices, see a breakout of the micro trend, breakout, new leg, and now we started below, closing above, and past the recent swing. So let's have a trend going this way. That first target worked pretty well. That would have got you a really good trade. I mean, you could have been holding from way up here, you know. There's the higher low when it breaks above. A little too soon to take that long, even though there's a trade, just because, yeah, there's a leg one, but let's get the reversal pattern. We've had so much momentum short. I'm not in a rush to buy. And there's that reversal type pattern. It's kind of stacking up, so that's not quite a good sign. Instead of taking the trade, and I think that one worked, but instead of taking that, let's just kind of play these lines in there. Okay, you're getting that move up, and we can expand a little bit now that we're getting kind of a bounce. Let's see if we can expand this. Maybe there's a trend channel moving up there. I think at this point, though, if you see the breakout pullback, you might want to take that. But it doesn't really pull back. There's a little lip there, but that's nothing. It's not touching. Red bar. No shorts yet. We're still going to work this line. And then here, that signal bar isn't that great, so that's not a trade either. And then now we're just overshooting our channel so much that even if we brought this over, I don't even think that it gets us like in there somewhere. So if it turns off there, and it does, so we could play this like a midline and say that our channel is like up in here. Shit. Something like there. So let's see how that does. Kind of weird. I like everything to be straight, so I'm gonna fix that really quick. Okay, a little better. Strong move back to this EMA. I don't really see the two-legged moves. I mean, technically, if you look how these bars, this one went up, down, paused, and then pushed, technically, but it's not that clear. It hasn't made any new swings yet, and it's not closing below either. So let's just wait to see if we get a bounce. It's probably what we want right now. Now we're closing below, though. It's pretty strong, a lot of consecutive bars. No reversal pattern. Once we break here, let's see what happens. Hasn't broken yet. It's not a good signal bar. We're still looking for longs, so we're waiting. That's the higher low. Not a great signal bar, so we might need a little more. Pushes up, pushes down. Here we go. There was a second entry short, but it broke the signal bar. This is a really strong red bar, so you might just ignore the signal bar, but I usually don't. And given the context, I'm still looking for a long. we haven't had a reversal pattern. This is the high. It broke below but didn't even close below. This is like the first close below. So this is like the high, the lower high. So we're not even ready to look for shorts yet. That's a pretty strong push. But then again, you know, for this context, if you have a trend, you're looking for a two-legged pullback, test of the re-high, of the highs. So even in here, you know, it's like it breaks, leg one, holds, leg two, and then fails. So that's kind of what we're seeing right there. Getting the stack up, it's good. So now, if you're playing off of this range, it's getting kind of confusing and messy. So I mean, you know, just stay on your hands. If you traded any of these, you're not even worried right now trying to enter. But if you are trading this, let's say that you're going to buy the breakout pullback, buy down here, something like that. And if you look right there off this high, none of these broke above. So this is like confusing, but I'm going to say this is a higher low. So none of these actually broke, even though we have a little move down there. That's the higher low. It's kind of a second entry, but I'm not buying the breakout. Let's see if it pulls back. There's the pullback. That's a nice signal bar. It's just a little confusing though. But off this high, first entry, second entry. I'm going to say that's aggressive to go long there. But even off this low, that was the higher low. And then here's this failed second entry short. It went below, but it failed. So that's a decent sign. Let's keep our stops tight. Okay. It never broke above, so you wouldn't have been in. And that's kind of how you survived that trade. Then that's the trigger. That's where the trade triggers. It's there. But I'm not so into it. Even though it made a double bottom, it's just a doji. You might take that. It's aggressive in my humble opinion. And then when you start seeing all this stuff, I'm kind of ready to bail. Let's see. If we expand this range, that gets us here. So that's not, I mean, you get some closes there. It's not that great. I would just say that this is the range. And then it's like somewhere up here. So I could see that, and that's a higher low. Honestly, it's just getting too confusing, so I'm going to wait. And that one did pretty good. That's the failed second entry, but you're at the tops now, so I'm going to wait again. I don't know if that one is enough. Let's see. 31, 20, 75. If you enter on a limit, it's just enough for the scalp. And then there you get the actual push. Only thing I'm seeing, like none of these trades, it's a little too messy for me. But I would say that if you look off this low, failed second entry, or the higher low, failed second entry right there, it does get the scalp, but this is kind of that reset play. Whenever this trade doesn't work, it then comes back to the EMA with a good signal bar. That's kind of that reset pattern. So I would consider it this trade. I mean, it's a lot easier now that I see the big green bar. But you know, we talked about this yesterday. When this failed second entry doesn't really work, pulls back to the EMA and gives a good signal bar, those are usually decent trades. So that could have got you in right there. It's a pretty good trade too. So now this leg, some pullbacks, and we're making an attempt for the highs. Say our trend line's like there. Another little lip right there off this double bottom is just a higher low. It's not really on the EMA. We're gonna wait. Let me turn off notifications for now. And then we tick below. This is a first entry congestion. Nah. We're still looking for a retest of these highs until we get this reversal signal. Right here, man, a little aggressive. That's the second entry long. Off this high, first entry, second entry, 2 legs back. It's sitting underneath this EMA, so it's like, not that great. But I would consider that as well. That one does pretty decent. Here, it's kind of like the failed second entry. I mean, off this high, once down, now it went down again. So, and we're closing below the EMA now. So I would say you could maybe look at this. You could look at that as a channel. Just bring it down maybe there. See how that one does. But that is 12:30, so we're pretty much good on the day. This trade was probably the last trade at 12. And that's what I saw for today, though. You know, kind of this leg up, then a big pullback, a breakout move, a push up, a breakout, a failed test. And let's see if this channel holds any. Yeah, this channel is holding as well. So getting a little breakout there, but it kind of worked down in there. So maybe some trades you could have taken in there. But yeah, that's what I saw. So another day, another dollar. We're going to be back to do it again tomorrow.